What's up guys, Mickle here, and we just got a brand new ruling in the Ripple SEC case. In this video, we're going to go over exactly what this ruling was and what it means for this case going forward. I saw a lot of initial negativity on Twitter towards this ruling, but in this video, I'm going to show you guys why this was actually a huge win for Ripple and XRP holders in exposing the SEC's corruption. You guys are not going to want to miss that. Guys, the SEC and Bill Hinman also got caught in another huge lie today. This in no doubt is going to go down as a huge mistake by the SEC in this case and is going to completely expose the motives of the agency. In this video, I'm going to show you guys what just happened, what was just found, and how badly it exposes the SEC in their BS case against Ripple. It is becoming more clear than ever that this case had nothing to do with merits and is completely founded by the SEC's corruption. Every single day that becomes more obvious, but unfortunately for the SEC and Bill Hinman, this is also becoming a lot more obvious to the courts. Last of all, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys some brand new interviews of Brad Garlinghouse that just got released from Davos. You guys are not going to want to miss this. It looks like Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple are more confident than ever and aren't worried about the SEC case at all. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys a very interesting interview that Brad Garlinghouse just did, where he actually talks about some potential acquisitions Ripple could be making in the future. Like always guys, if you are new to this channel or come here all the time, please take a second to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It goes such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it really does mean so much to me. If you guys are ever looking for a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out the link in the description below. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, let's start this thing off, and the first thing we're going to talk about was the brand new ruling in this case out of the court. Out of James K. filing, the court has granted the SEC's motion for an extension of time to file an opposition to the amicus request to participate in the expert challenge. SEC's objection is due June 7th, 2022, and this is the SEC asking for an extension of time to respond to John Deaton's motion, where he is trying to get involved in this case to represent the 67,000 XRP holders. Now, it's important to point out that John Deaton actually is already involved in this case, but now he's actually trying to make a filing to the court to try to show them why XRP has so much utility outside the company Ripple. Now, the SEC is strictly opposing this, which is pretty ironic because they are the party that's supposed to represent us, the XRP holders, and instead they are trying to deny John Deaton's motion to get involved and represent us. Now, you might be wondering, how could it possibly be good news that this motion got delayed? Just another delay in this case. It seems like it's going on forever. And I completely agree, guys. I'm sick of these delays too. But the first point I want to quickly make is just the fact that summary judgment is already locked in place by the court. So the max end date for this case really isn't going to be moved by any of these delays. And these are kind of just small delays in the middle of the max end date anyway, so it really doesn't have too much of an effect. But the other thing I really want to point out here, this was by Bill, and I think this is what we really want to be paying attention to. He said, "Thank you, James. This is great news. Many thanks to the SEC for drawing attention to the amicus pre-motion letter for the stake of a 7-day extension and letting the judge know it is so concerned and oppositional to the amicus participation in a challenge to Mr. Duty's expert report." He then goes on to say, "The judge now knows that John Deaton represents 67,300 XRP holders and has 3,250 signed affidavits under oath that may be relevant to the duty report. She knows the SEC has seen them. In that context, it's not hard for her to already infer why the SEC opposes the amicus participation." So what Bill is pointing out here is the SEC actually delaying this actually kind of puts them under blast by showing they fully acknowledge that John Deaton is representing us 67,000 XRP holders and fully acknowledging that he has over 3,000 affidavits saying that XRP holders use XRP for utility outside of the company Ripple. This puts a ton of pressure on the SEC because it makes it obvious that they are fully going against the people they are supposed to protect and making an obvious statement to the court that this is in fact what's happening. It also forced the court to actually make sure and go back and review John Deaton's motion to make sure it got the proper eyeballs on it. What Bill's pointing out here is he really didn't think this was a good move for the SEC because it puts more attention on John Deaton's motion, which is the last thing the SEC should have wanted to do here. John Deaton's motion is a home run against the Howey test. It completely destroys one of the prongs, which is the common enterprise. John Deaton is completely showing that XRP has certain utility outside the company Ripple. So the fact that the SEC is actually putting more attention on this was a really bad move for them, and that's why we really shouldn't be too concerned that this actually got delayed, because it's just going to give the court more time to analyze this and realize how absurd the SEC's being. And if you thought that was bad for the SEC, wait until you see this, because it actually gets much, much worse. This came out today out of Ellen Arteria, and she says, "Scoop, Patrick Doody, the independent expert the SEC retained to analyze the perspective of a reasonable purchaser of XRP, is currently employed by a private consulting firm that won a $4.1 million contract in 2018. The contract was funded by, guess who? The SEC. Guys, it literally does not get more absurd than this. The SEC is literally paying your expert witnesses to say exactly what they want them to say. This is so bad for the SEC because it completely exposes how corrupted their expert witness is. Of course, this expert witness is going to say exactly what the SEC wants them to say. He's getting paid by them millions of dollars indirectly. So what do you think the court's gonna do? Do you think she's gonna listen to this expert witness who didn't interview a single XRP holder? Or is she gonna listen to the 78,000 XRP holders being represented by John Deaton directly telling the court, hey, this is how we use XRP. You don't have to analyze what this so-called expert thinks. We'll tell you what we use XRP for. Guys, not only does this expose the SEC for their blatant and obvious corruption once again, but it's actually a really, really bad sign for them. I mean, this is just embarrassing and significantly weakens their stance on this issue. And it's so important to point out that this is no small issue. This is directly tying into one of the prongs of Howey, so the fact that the SEC looks like they're gonna lose this one so badly would be a devastating loss for them in this case. And Jeremy Hogan chimed in, he said, consider that fact checked, and here it is right here, the SEC directly granting this guy's firm $4.1 million and then bringing him in as an independent expert witness. Guys, it does not get more absurd than that. The SEC is literally cheating to try to win this thing, and it is blatantly obvious to the court. I don't see any way they get away with this one because it literally cannot look worse than this. And guys, you're probably sitting there right now thinking, wow, the SEC is really doing a poor job in this case. How could they make such critical mistakes in this case when some of the stuff seems so obvious? Like, hey, maybe if you paid your expert witness a couple $1 million, that might get brought up and make him not look so independent. Well, look no further than this, because it's important to point out that the SEC has been recently making some very critical mistakes, and look no further than the Bill Hinman Ethereum free pass 180 flip-flop. We know the SEC tried to say this was all Hinman's personal opinion, but more importantly, Bill Hinman actually testified under oath that this was his personal opinion. Take a look at this though out of Documenting Ripple. According to the SEC.gov website, the Bill Hinman Ethereum free pass speech was agency policy. This means that Bill Hinman and the SEC lied to the court under oath. What an embarrassment. And if we take a look at what is actually directly on their website, guys, it's on their website. How do you mess this up so badly? Our corporation finance division director recently further outlined the approach staff takes to evaluate whether a digital asset is a security. Let me read the important part again. Outline the approach our staff takes to evaluate whether a digital asset is a security. See bullet point 29. Well, guys, you would never guess. Bullet point 29, Bill Hinman, digital asset transaction, when Howie met Gary. Yes, the infamous Ethereum free pass speech. Guys, this is literally on the SEC's website. Like, can you get sloppier than that? And guess who wrote this? Even worse, Jay Clayton. Guys, this is straight up crazy. Like, you would think you would at least delete this if you were going to bring this case against Ripple and flip-flop on this point multiple times on this case. I think it shows that the SEC is just straight up getting sloppy here and never really had any good case to start with. The corruption is literally leaking out from their own case and ended up exposing their whole agency with this thing. Like, if you were to file a case, like, at least clean it up a little bit. If you're already going to have a case covered in corruption, just delete the evidence. Don't leave it on your website. Anyway, though, it's looking really good for Ripple and XRP holders. The SEC is just going to keep trying to delay this thing because it's all they have. I mean, they literally prove their own case incorrect on their website. I don't think there's any way they end up even remotely winning this thing. I think they can get a few more delays here and there, but ultimately, guys, it's written on the wall. This is just a pathetic job by the SEC. Last of all, before you guys go, I wanted to show you this quick clip of Brad Garlinghouse at Davos. I want you guys to understand that Ripple isn't worried about this SEC case at all, so you probably shouldn't either. I want to read you this tweet I put out there. You can tell how not worried Ripple is about this current SEC case. The SEC is a toll booth on the road to global domination. Buckle up, folks. Ripple will be a monster. I want to leave you guys with this clip. Make sure you listen up. It's always so important to listen to Brad Garlinghouse when he talks. He is such an outstanding CEO. He does an amazing job. I hope you guys all have a good night, and I'm going to take you out with this clip of Big BG himself.
You know, as you mentioned, or you asked, we have been profitable and cash flow positive, so we're able to use that. So we've repurchased north of $500 million of Ripple shares over the past couple of years, including that financing.
And you mentioned you're cash flow positive, but also, are you looking for further outside funding at this point, whether it be, for an extra cash injection or at least just a strategic sort of investment as well?
We aren't actively looking. We haven't needed to do that. We have a very strong balance sheet, and even as we look at the future, we feel good about that. I do think there will be opportunities, and I think there'll be an uptick in M&A in the blockchain and crypto space. We haven't seen that yet, but I think that's likely in the future, and I certainly think as that unfolds, we would consider things like that.
In terms of buying companies or being bought out?
We're now at a stage of growth where I think we're more likely to be the buyer versus the buyee or seller.
Yeah, but you haven't found the acquisition targets at this point, or is there an area of the business you're thinking, this company would be a great fit?
I would say there's a lot of growth in crypto, and we are looking at a lot of different segments of crypto for growth. Some of that, obviously, we will build internally. The carbon credit initiative is something we've kicked off internally, but we've invested in over 30 or 40 companies around the crypto ecosystem, and we'll continue to look at opportunities to grow through external acquisitions also.
And of course, the market's not great right now, but is an IPO on the cards at some point?
Well, I think we want to get certainty and clarity in the United States with the US SEC. I'm hopeful that the SEC will not slow that process down any more than they already have. But we certainly at a point in scale where that is a possibility, and we'll look at that once we're past this lawsuit with the SEC.
Ripple getting ready to buy companies, Ripple getting ready to IPO, doesn't sound like they're worried to me. Guys, I hope you have a good night. Thanks for coming, and for now, Mickle out.